Debate, though, over the economic plan has been intense over these past several weeks. In fact, one U.S. senator says, and I'm quoting, "It stinks." That would be Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. He was among those who felt the plan had simply too much spending. So what does he and other Republicans think now that the House and Senate negotiators have reached this agreement on this economic recovery bill? Senator Graham is joining us now from Capitol Hill. Senator, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
If someone had said to me over the past few weeks, you know what, the president's going to reach out to moderate Republicans, mavericks, I always assumed the two senators from Maine, Olympia Snowe and Susan Collins, would be on board. Arlen Specter, he often goes with the Democrats on sensitive issues. But I always assumed that John McCain, a maverick, and Lindsey Graham probably would be there as well. But the two of you came out swinging. You hate this deal. Why?
Well, number one, it started in the House very poorly. This bill is not written by a bunch of economists who are focused on creating jobs. It was written by House appropriators with the attitude, we won, we write the bill. You couldn't pick up one Republican in the House, and you lost 11 Democrats. You've lost more Democrats than you've picked up Republicans. That's not bipartisanship. John and I had an alternative. It was $415 billion that had tax cuts for business, had tax cuts for individuals. It had spending on food stamps and unemployment insurance benefits and infrastructure projects. The compromise between $415 billion that every Republican voted for in the Senate and $790, whatever the number is not a bipartisan compromise. So we're disappointed in the process and the substance. This bill creates more new government than it does new jobs.
What does it say to you about the new president of the United States?
I think what happened in the House kind of threw him. I think he should have probably written the bill, but the House started with a spending bill that was unfocused on creating jobs. 20% of this bill hits the economy in the first year. If it can't come out within a year or 18 months, it shouldn't be in this bill. There are a lot of programs in this bill that are policy changes that are unrelated to creating a job, and I think we've lost the focus. We're throwing everything but the kitchen sink in this bill and not focusing on creating jobs.
He says, the president, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Isn't this better than nothing?
No, this is worse than nothing. This is $1 trillion over the next 10 years, and when the economy gets better, the interest on this bill is about $400 billion. I think it would have been better to start with housing. It would have been better to start with banking. We've taken about $800 billion in the name of stimulus to grow the government, not create jobs, and we've done nothing about the underlying problems with housing and banking. You're throwing good money after bad until you fix the banking problem and the housing problem. So I think it would have been better to do nothing on stimulus, start with banking and housing where you have a real chance to jumpstart the economy, then do stimulus.
Listen to what the president said about what this will do. Listen to this.
Okay.
Local governments are seeing more people filing unemployment claims, signing up for Medicaid, requesting government services. And all the while, people are spending less, earning less, and paying less in taxes. So across the country, states need help. And with my plan, help is what they will get.
Doesn't South Carolina need some help?
Yes, but there's only one taxpayer. This is not money we found under a tree in Washington. The money we're sending back to the states came out of the same wallet that the money going to the states came from. So yes, South Carolina needs help. I'm all for infrastructure spending, but it's got to be shovel-ready. I'm for helping people sign up for Medicaid. There's $90 billion in this bill. All you need to get people eligible for Medicaid in terms of new enrollees is $11 billion. I'm not for a $75 billion slush fund for states that can be spent on anything they want to spend it on, including budget problems, because we've got our own budget problems, and you're rewarding states who have done very little to trim up their own budgets and punish states who have done things at home.
South Carolina will get money out of this bill. Should South Carolina take the money?
I think, yeah, from my point of view, you don't want to be crazy here. I mean, if there's going to be money on the table that will help my state, but I've got a job to do up here, and that is try to help people and not damn the next generation. We had a $415 billion package to help people who've lost their jobs, to cut taxes, to create new jobs. We've got a spending bill, not a job creation bill, and we're being all things to all people. We've dug a hole for the next generation of young Americans they can't get out of. The total cost of this bill is over $1 trillion, and it's not going to create jobs as much as it does grow government. And when you send the money to South Carolina, That's not going to create a job for the national economy. It's going to help a bunch of politicians balance their books and not create jobs in South Carolina.
One final question. We're almost out of time, Senator.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself cooperating with President Obama down the road? On which issues? Because in the past, you've worked with Democrats on comprehensive immigration reform, on campaign finance reform. Where do you see, what issues will you be his partner?
Social Security, we can't do it without bipartisanship, and this bill is not bipartisanship. If this becomes the new definition of bipartisanship, we've lost our way. But he's going to need help from Republicans on Social Security, closing Guantanamo Bay, what to do with the detainees. I think we can move them back to the United States as long as we're smart about it. He's going to need help on earmark reform, budget reform. He's going to need help on banking and housing, and I want to help him. I want him to succeed, but this bill started in the House. It became a monstrosity of a spending bill. It has lost its focus in terms of creating jobs, and I can't help him here, and I'm sorry, but this is a bad deal for the American taxpayer.
Lindsey Graham is a Republican senator from South Carolina. Senator, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.